Hey there, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get started here in just 2 minutes, waiting for people to file in. Appreciate all the likes and shares and subscribes. Where are you tuning in from? It's always a fun game. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin's key short-term support break and whether or not it is a bear trap. Bear flag with no follow-through. What's up, D? Chicago, Minnesota, Austin, Arkansas, Hawaii, Hollywood, Florida, Oregon, New Zealand, Dallas. You did good things. That's great. Truckee. I like Truckee a lot. I lived in Kings Beach for a few months. Czech Republic, Florida. Wasaga Beach. I don't know where that is. Huntington Beach, Scotland, Estonia, Netherlands. Norway, Oregon, Dominican Republic. Dollar, that was a good question. So we'll look at the dollar here. I'm going to look at the broader market. We'll look at the dollar, and then we'll look at crypto charts, and then we'll look at whatever you want. Romania, Germany. Ooh, two Romanias right near each other. Slovenia, Canada, Australia, Croatia, Toronto, all everybody in the States was in the first 1 minute. Now we got all the foreigners. All right, let's talk about stuff. So first things first, we got a new free ebook about backburners. So we got the video breaking down backburners, but now we've got an ebook as well. There's your link, free ebook. Check it out. Backburners, again, backburners, we've got oversold bounce plays coming off really bullish environments, and we've got bearish backburner trades coming off of downtrends and weakness, giving us short entries. So this is definitely one to have in the tool belt, just as there are periods where backburners are not on the table. Like right now in crypto, backburner bounces are not really on the table because we're not coming from an extremely strong environment. But it's just a cycle, and there'll be another cycle where backburners are bread and butter yet again. Pretty much anytime there's a bull run, if you're not going to be chasing, you are going to be entering on backburner bounces. And that is going to help you. It's going to be your anti-FOMO trade. I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to chase here. I'll just wait for next 5-minute oversold conditions. I'll make my entry. And I use that often as my strategy. All right. So the NASDAQ. This is the NASDAQ futures chart. I've got something in my eye. So the NASDAQ futures chart had a daily bear flag to end last week. We closed at the low of the week to end last week. We opened futures Sunday night, last night, confirmed the daily bear flag, but it's a bullish reversal candle. So the question is the same that we have on Bitcoin in a number of ways. Number one, are we going to set a weekly high or low? Number two, is this a daily bear flag with zero follow through shaping up our weekly high or low? We don't have enough information to answer that question, but we are going to go over the clues on different time frames that will help strengthen clarity for us and help us gauge probabilities that this is happening or this is not happening. And we're also well aware that there's a possibility that we just see weekly tightening ranges into the FOMC. Again, big monetary policy meeting in the first week of May. So that's 3 weeks from now. Well, what if we set a weekly high or low this week and then bounce for a couple weeks, but just a lower high? It's possible that we just tighten up a bit and then we look for volatility middle of the year, May and into June. So possible that weekly ranges tighten up. And at this point, bulls hope that weekly ranges tighten up because the only way that happens is by setting a high or low and tightening up. I want to read all your funny comments, but it's distracting me. All right. So the NASDAQ needs to confirm a trend change. It's just a straight up hourly equilibrium. High of the day, low of the day, lower high, higher low, and lower high into the close here. If it breaks bull, we zoom out to the 4-hour time frame, and we know we need a 4-hour trend change if we're going to see this bounce follow through on the daily. Key for me is the high of the last bounce attempt, which is the high of Thursday, and that's going to be our daily lower high resistance. One thing to note, Bitcoin, we just saw a big bull move. We'll talk about that in just a second. The Bitcoin move got going at 1:05 p.m. Eastern with a 10-minute big time breakout. Look at what the NASDAQ did. This is when Bitcoin was breaking out. Look at the laggard move. The NASDAQ did it 25 minutes after Bitcoin did. So again, there are clues to be had from the crypto world for the stock world and vice versa. But more and more the last 2 months, we're seeing the crypto world give some clues to the stock world. And today was just another example. 25-minute heads up, and then a big bull spike followed very similarly. So we need more proving in the stock world is what it boils down to. Have to see daily bounce follow through. And it's the same thing with Bitcoin, but we could say Bitcoin is stronger than the stock market right now, than the NASDAQ. And we could see that bull move that started taking place between 105 and 110, the first thing I did is I went right into the chat room and I said, Bitcoin standing out with bullish correlation comparative to the broader market, which is still all bears. So it's just a flashing light. This is breaking correlation with the broader market, and it's standing out for the bulls. And so what has happened now, again, daily bear flag confirming with zero follow through. So you have a scenario where everybody got to one side of the boat. You got your scales here. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? And this is sentiment. This is social media. And we got to a point where, okay, it's a weak daily bounce. There's a lot of bears out there. And then as soon as you confirm that daily bear flag, a lot more bears all go to the same side. And you reach a point where, okay, we've confirmed the daily bear flag. Stop losses have triggered. So bulls have stopped out of positions. Shorts are in their positions from the last week or two, or they entered on the break of support. Who's left to short after that initial flush down? And the answer is nobody. And so those scales flipped back again real quick. And we now have this notable bounce underway. So we have not changed trends on this notable bounce. We do have an hourly uptrend, but we do need a 4-hour uptrend as well. We're testing a key resistance level. So our daily lower high here is 41.6 thousand. That's the most important short-term level for me, because if that level breaks, then yes, absolutely, it is a daily bear flag that confirmed with zero follow-through, which is obviously ideal for the bulls. Another way that I view this chart is, again, I always want to have my bull glasses on, and then I want to put my bear glasses on and not have a bias. So when I look at this chart, I say, okay, what am I feeling if I'm a bear? What am I feeling if I'm a bull? So if I'm a bull, I know that a lot of people just got stopped out, myself included, in Ethereum, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So I know that there's a lot of bulls that are now on the sideline and thinking, oh man, do I got to jump back in? Was that the buy? Is this the weekly higher low being set? Is this about to leave me in the dust? That's the FOMO speaking for the bulls that just got stopped out. Bears are comfortable if they are in from a week ago, but if I look at this chart, I just imagine, okay, bears comfortable over the long holiday weekend. Bulls didn't do much of anything. We just traded sideways, we putted around, and then we rolled over. But just like that, within a 3-4 hour span today, you now have a spot where anybody that shorted in the last 4 days is in the red. So nobody, unless they took some profit, but nobody is green from a bearish entry that they have made in the last 4 days. So when I'm looking at momentum shifting, I'm counting. I'm looking at that statistic, which is why if we get over 41.6, I can then say anybody that's gone short in the last week is now underwater. And so again, that just puts more and more pressure on bears. But the key for me into tomorrow is when this move tops out, whether we reject from 41.6 or whether we break it, do we form a healthy higher low and then confirm continuation? Because this fast hard move is, it triggers some short stop losses to add some buying pressure and maybe some bulls that are succumbing to their FOMO are buying right now. But the real test is going to be, okay, once things cool down, once bears regain some short-term composure, are there bulls waiting to buy the 4-hour high or low to take us higher and confirm that trend change? If we confirm a 4-hour trend change from here and break 41.6, the probabilities of our weekly high or low shaping up, for me, will increase notably. But I need those two things to happen. I need 41.6 to break. I need a 4-hour higher low and higher high. Doesn't matter which happens first, but I need both of those things to happen for us to be saying, okay, we got a good shot at our weekly higher low being set. Do we have space for a weekly lower high to be the result of this bounce? Yes, absolutely. Because we can go 20% from the low that we just hit today before we get to that resistance. So even if bulls control the next 3 days and we go up 6% more from here, we're still watching for the possibility of a weekly lower high. And again, that's the scenario I talked about where we may tighten up into the May FOMC meeting. Forgot to talk about the dollar. So the dollar we know has been very strong. We know the dollar being weak is good for the stock market. It's good for crypto bulls. So we can look at this and say the dollar is doing nothing but hurting Bitcoin right now. If it pulls back, that could definitely help Bitcoin. But there's no sign of that because here we are with a daily higher low at 99.57 and we're up at the highs. The key for me is the 6-month time frame, 5-year pattern tightening up. Are we going to set a lower high compared to 103 and tighten up for another year plus? There's no indication that that's happening, but I'm watching for it. And if I'm a crypto bull, I want that to happen. I want a top to be set and the dollar to pull back for months. But no sign of it. So we just have to keep an eye on it. What's also notable for this bull move that Bitcoin is seeing today is Bitcoin is leading the way up. The dominance chart is seeing a big green day. That's not the normal pattern. The normal pattern that we've been seeing more often than not, again, there's brief periods where it changes, but the more common pattern is the dominance chart goes up when crypto drops and alts drop faster than Bitcoin. So we have this tightening weekly dominance chart that we've been talking about for a long time, and our weekly higher low was just set. And our weekly, no, I take that back, it's not set yet. We need to confirm the daily trend change. We're watching for a weekly higher low here as well. The way that the crypto market is its strongest, in my opinion, is when Bitcoin leads the way up on a move, and then as it consolidates sideways, we've seen this many times, consolidates sideways, and the dominance chart drops while it consolidates sideways, showing us that altcoins get their turn. So Bitcoin goes up, trades sideways, altcoins go up. And you have to see Bitcoin regain that confidence for the crypto space. Bitcoin, daily bear flag, no follow through. Is this our weekly high or low? And now every little indication that we get that increases probabilities that our weekly high or low is being set increases confidence for bulls to put funds into altcoins. So best case scenario for me is 4-hour trend change to the Bitcoin bulls, break 41.6 thousand, but then see the dominance chart consolidate on the daily to have altcoins then catch up and set their weekly higher lows. So keeping an eye on that relationship. We want to see the confidence in Bitcoin, which again is very short-lived. It's only been around for 3 hours now, 4 hours, 5 hours. We have a double top at the moment, potentially shaping up hourly consolidation, lots of space for a higher low. But we want the confidence from Bitcoin to seep out into the entire cryptocurrency space so altcoins follow along with strength as well. Ethereum broke the daily bear flag. So again, I did stop out. The trade that I was in was from this red day a week ago. Entered 2 positions under 3,000, sold half of it above 3,000. My break even with fees was somewhere in the 29.60s. So I stopped out with a tiny loss, but I am now back to all cash in the crypto space aside from long-term no-touch positions, which means I don't have a weekly higher low position. That was my attempt at a weekly higher low. And it's possible that I stop out right before that weekly higher low is set. Certainly wouldn't be surprising in the crypto world. We often break support right before a bottom is set and break resistance right before a top is set. So what does that mean? how am I going to make an entry from here? Number one, I'm in no rush because again, I am anticipating that if this is a weekly high or low, we may just tighten up on the weekly time frame for a few weeks. If I wanted to be aggressive, I would be entering on 4-hour consolidation. And again, it depends on the individual. Do you want to be aggressive or conservative is the first question. If I want to be aggressive, I'm entering on a 4-hour high or low. Whether I choose Ethereum or a different coin, we'll talk about as we go through our other altcoins, but this is just an example. If I did want to enter on Ethereum, I would be looking for a 4-hour high or low. I would be using the recent low as my stop. Because the whole premise here, if this is going to be a weekly high or low, that needs to be our low. Because we can't confirm the daily bear flag, see a significant bounce, and then drop to a lower low. If that happens, it all goes out the window. Our weekly high or low is not shaping up. That's got to be what we just set has to be the weekly high or low. And gold just did that. Gold's a good example. Again, nothing to do with correlation, but just the psychology of how the trade played out. So this is what gold did, where we're scouting a weekly high or low. So here's a big bull breakout on gold. Consolidation, all right, no red flags. Weekly EMA 12 support. We're scouting a weekly high or low. We set a low. We confirm a daily trend change. We break that support straight into a multiple day bounce. Originally, I have metals positions, and I said, I'm going to exit if this level breaks. This was a headline reaction, and it happened so fast. I was either going to, if I would have stopped out, it would have been with hourly RSI in the teens or something like that. So I was not going to stop out at that point. But it was a bear break by $5 with no follow through. And I then said, all right, that is my stop. Because if that's going to be a bear break with zero follow through, that's our weekly high or low. That is either our weekly high or low or the bulls are in trouble. And we can say the same thing on Bitcoin right now. This is either our weekly high or low. Again, still a ton of proving to be done. If it's not, the bulls are in trouble. If this is not our weekly high or low, the odds of a monthly bear flag will increase notably. So this has to be it. Time to prove it, bulls. 4-hour trend change and a break of 41.6. So Ethereum is weaker right now. We've got multiple daily resistances. 30.87 is one lower high, and 31.45 is another lower high. We're still in a 4-hour downtrend. If we don't break 30.83, it's just a 4-hour lower high here. So a lot of proving to still be done. And again, it's all about that 4-hour trend change. But ETH BTC is giving some signs of weakness. We had a double top on the daily here. Now we have a double bottom. Bulls trying to form a higher low. This range and how it breaks is going to be key. If this breaks bear, ETH BTC breaking bear, for me means I'm not looking to play Ethereum bullish. There's an altcoin out there that's stronger. If ETH BTC breaks this range bullish, then yes, absolutely, ETH is a good place to be looking bullish. So right now it's just weekly inside bars, and we're either going to see weekly consolidation shape up, and again, if that happens, you're better off being in Bitcoin than Ethereum, which means you're better off in being a bunch of other altcoins than Ethereum. So watching how this sideways tightening range breaks is going to be key to dictate the short-term relative strength or weakness of Ethereum. And how this range breaks is going to have implications for the next few weeks, in my opinion. So we're paying close attention. We might not break for another 4 days, but we know that when this range does break, it will be giving us some good information in terms of which direction. LTC, BTC, the last video that we did, when was that? Last week, Wednesday maybe? 13th? So we held a double bottom on LTC, BTC, which was enough for me to say, all right, I'm not bullish Litecoin right now, but I'm not comfortable bearish anymore. Because Litecoin was our lead bear play for a significant amount of time. But as soon as this weekly double bottom held, that goes out the window. Bears can't be confident if there's a weekly double bottom. We're still battling and rejecting from weekly EMA 12 resistance. There is still, we still are not in a daily uptrend. Watch for it though, because if LTC BTC confirms a daily trend change and breaks the weekly lower high pattern, it would be the first break of the weekly lower highs in a long time since his big pop in May. So it would be the first time in 6 months plus, more than that, 10 months? First time in 10 months that we break the weekly lower highs. So just keep an eye out for it. Again, I am neutral on Litecoin. I was bearish for a while on Litecoin because of the LTC BTC pattern. As soon as that double bottom forms, I am no longer bearish. I'm not yet bullish. Confirm the daily trend change and break the weekly lower high. And it's time to pay attention to Litecoin as a bull. So again, just be prepared for it. Have a game plan established. I already know what I have to see to turn me into a Litecoin bull. If it doesn't happen, I just wasted about 5 minutes of time preparing. If it does happen, then I'm prepared and I know what I'm looking for to act on for me to be interested in Litecoin. So do that with a bunch of coins. Prepare. Game plans. Tons of game plans that I established never come to fruition. It's practice. It's good practice. And I don't lose a dollar if it doesn't happen. I was watching this LTC BTC prolonged falling wedge for a long time. It broke bear. I didn't lose a dollar. Just lost a little bit of time, but that's all right. Binance has been keeping my eye recently. Why has Binance been catching my eye? Because the BTC pairing set a monthly higher low, and it's a strong monthly uptrend. So again, this is another tightening range. Find the BTC pairings in tightening ranges because you know when they break, they're going to give us great information. Just like Ethereum on the daily is going to give us good information, this on the monthly, the time frame is going to determine how much follow through we expect. A break of a tight range on the daily, we're looking for days of follow through. A break of a tight range on the monthly, we're looking for months of follow through. Just need to shut some people up. A moderatorless. All right. So monthly higher low is set on Binance BTC. So now anything under 12.1 is just a monthly lower high. So I'm viewing this as a high, a low of consolidation, inability to break all-time highs, monthly higher low. We're just tightening up. And this pattern has been building for 10 months. If we set another monthly lower high, this pattern could tighten up for another 5 months, 4 months. When it breaks, it's going to have significant implications as to how Bitcoin trades in comparison, or how Binance trades in comparison to Bitcoin. So, Binance USDT, daily higher low. So we know Ethereum and Bitcoin and everybody confirmed daily bear flags to lower lows. We did not see that on Binance. It held support. I'm looking for Binance to give us a weekly higher low. Look at the weekly consolidation on Binance compared to Bitcoin. It's much stronger. The retracement is much less significant. You could probably call this a bull flag. If we're going off the low here, it was 50% retracement. But it's still very healthy weekly consolidation. Long story short, I'm watching Binance because of the BTC pairing showing recent relative strength. It's in a daily uptrend. And when this BTC pairing monthly chart breaks, it's going to give us a lot of good information for the second half of 2022. And it's potentially, if that breaks bull to all-time highs, depending on what Bitcoin is doing, Binance could be headed back up towards all-time highs as well. All depends on whether or not Bitcoin bulls can keep the weekly uptrend going. We need that weekly higher low this week. Luna standing out today in a big way. So Luna lost the spotlight. Luna was a lead bull for a very long time, up at all-time highs, the go-to play. And we've seen this before, right? We have a coin or two that cycles in as the altcoin, and then they fade. We have the metaverse names do it. They're now out in the doghouse. The metaverse names are very weak. The metaverse names will have their turn in the sun again. Mana and Sand will be lead bulls again for weeks at a time. But not yet, and it might not be for months, but it will happen again. So it was Luna's turn, but Luna faded, and Luna's BTC pairing, rejecting from all-time high resistance, was a clue to be watching for the fading strength. And we then got a pretty notable pullback on Luna, 120 down to 70, whatever. So that was a notable drop. But now all in one fell swoop, 36% drop. Today, Luna is back in the spotlight as far as a lead alt bull. I mean, just look at the list that I got going here. 15% when number 2 is 5. That's a massive, glaring standout. We had a 4-hour falling wedge. So there's a couple of things. We know we're scouting a weekly high or low as the most likely scenario. How do we know we're scouting for it? Because it's anything above 47.29. We got all the space in the world for a weekly high or low to form. But there was no indication it was shaping up. We just completely turned on the jets and turned things around. So definitely easy to miss this move. And I woke up this morning and pointed out this 4-hour falling wedge. So 4-hour falling wedge watch, keeping an eye on Luna BTC 12-hour support trend line. We know a weekly high or low is most likely in the USDT pairing. We're watching to see if the BTC pairing bear break lacks follow through. So the Luna BTC pairing confirmed a weekly downtrend today. All-time high, weekly high or low, bull flag attempt, fail at resistance, break support. And as soon as we broke support, bulls completely turned it around. And this was the downtrending support line that I was talking about in that message. Can drop better than that, so it's hitting all 3 points here, but I didn't make any money on Luna today. So I knew what I was looking for, but that post that I made was literally 10 minutes after I got out of bed. So I was just wrapping my head around the day, checking in on stocks. I do my morning routine for an hour and a half, checking in on everything and getting prepared for the day. So I was not in any position to be trading, but definitely an easy one to miss. So don't beat up on yourself. I mean, really, there was no hourly high or low entry here. So for those of you that did get it, big time congrats for sure, because it was a tricky one where it was just complete bear control, weak hourly bounce, potential bear flag, and then just out of nowhere, bulls completely take over. And volume was a little bit of a clue for sure, but you had to have been stalking that trade to be in it. So what do we need now? Luna needs a 4-hour trend change, just like Bitcoin. Whenever we top out, we must set the higher low and higher high. And what the bulls are hoping for is that Luna returns to the spotlight and sees the BTC pairing doing the exact same thing. 4-hour higher low and confirm the trend change at the same time as the US dollar pairing. If that happens, we'll say, yep, we're back in the spotlight and Luna is back as a lead alt bull as long as that spotlight remains. So just like Bitcoin's next 4-hour consolidation is going to be key, looks like hourly is still potentially shaping up consolidation. Just like this 4-hour trend change is going to be key whether it confirms or not. Same thing for Luna, both pairings. And then if we change the trend from there, we zoom out, we will need a daily trend change eventually. If we get that, then our weekly high or low is set. But the most important factor for me on Luna, does the BTC pairing start to do tick for tick exactly what the US dollar pairing does and change trends for the bulls? One more note on Trader Pro. Again, we got the free trial going. Not a whole lot going on with Trader Pro as far as the recent last few days of action, especially when things are really tight. There's not a whole lot going on, but Bitcoin did give a 1-hour super stack down near the lows. But in all honesty, that's not one I would have paid much attention to because it was coming off of a daily bear flag confirming. If I'm looking for a daily higher low and an hourly super stack fires, it has a lot more attention from me and a lot higher probability as a trade than if we're in a downtrend on the daily time frame and it fires. Other than that, if we get a real tight range, you could be checking in on abnormal volume, just keeping an eye on volume spikes that tell you a break of a tightening range is coming. But other than that, just patiently waiting for trend. We're waiting for a trend right now. We have a daily downtrend. And the question is, are bulls about to regain some trends of their own? So, not a whole lot going on in the Trader Pro space the past couple of days. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. Still got that free trial going for another week or so. All right, what do you all want to talk about? Feel free to ask any questions. Let's see, I got another 10, I will do 12 more minutes. Any questions about anything? Coins, stocks, we'll stick to crypto. Coins, trading, lifestyle, psychology, all that stuff. Theta, so again, I know what Bitcoin looks like. I just go to the BTC pairing first. So what is Theta BTC doing? It's in a daily downtrend. As long as it's in a daily downtrend, it is weaker. Is it a falling wedge shaping up? Maybe. You know, I love my falling wedges. I would have had the falling wedge probably drawn like that. It would have been a bull break with zero follow through. I guess you could draw it like that as well. Worth keeping an eye on this tightening range. If this breaks bull, it would be the first indication, okay, pay attention to Theta because it's gaining on BTC. But for now, we're just looking for Theta BTC to give us a 4-hour lower high on this bounce. Have to confirm trend changes just like everybody else. Theta BTC needs to confirm a 4-hour uptrend if Theta is going to be a good place to be for bulls. Do I think BTC markets have the same market makers as the traditional markets? More and more. Definitely. I mean, we can see it with correlations. We can see it with weekend volume. Weekends used to be a time where it's like, you know, okay, I can trade crypto. Markets are closed, but there's volatility in crypto and there's stuff to do. And more, we're just seeing volume drop off in much tighter ranges and much more lethargic weekend trading action. And the more institutionalized it gets, and the more popular it gets, and the higher the price and the higher the market cap, the more likely that's going to continue. As the automated bots will continue to take over. Do I use volume profile? I do not personally. Other Chart Guys members do. When did TA click for me? So I was playing around with TA for a year or two, but it's when I got done road tripping and said, all right, I'm putting in 5 months, 6 months, where full-time job every single day. It's like I'm going to college to learn technical analysis. And I just crashed with my parents because I was living out of my car during the road trip. Say, all right, well, before I go rent a place or whatever, I'm going to crash with my parents for 5 months, live rent-free. I'm very fortunate for that. Definitely a big help. And just hit it every day. 8 hours plus every single day, full-time, learning technical analysis. And after that, it definitely started to click. And that was when I started emulating other people that I was watching, trying to talk exactly like they do. How would they analyze this? Practicing my own analysis. So you've watched me, most of you, you've watched me enough where you know, I mean, if you've been watching for months, you know to a certain degree what I'm going to say. Record yourself. We have Chart Guys members that record themselves. They don't make them public, but they record themselves giving their own analysis. There is no better practice than doing that. Pretend you're me. What would I say looking at these charts? Record it and then watch it back. I mean, if you really want to dive in, there are so many ways to do it, and that is just one of them. Do I ever trade options? Very, very rarely. I used to do it more, but I'm better at trading common shares. It's just a simple fact. And I also, thanks to the crypto market, got a lot more capital in 2017, 2018. And so that allowed for not needing the leverage that options can give. Advice for a 20-year-old college student who trades sometimes. So you're asking two different things. So you're asking for advice, and then you're talking about one coin or one ticker. So the advice is treat this as a multiple decade-long game. Treat this as your goal is to prepare yourself for when you're 30 and when you're 35 to be working towards financial independence or achieving financial independence. Don't get caught up. You should be focusing on learning right now, not trading. And trading is a part of learning, absolutely. But so many people are in a mindset, and myself included. I was, the point that I drive home is when I was in my first 1, 2, 3 years of trading, it was my goal is I want to do well in year 2 of trading right now. This is my second year of trading, and I want to do well in year 2. And I was not thinking what I am learning right now in year 2, I'm going to apply in year 7 and absolutely smash whatever market, because I will be so ready for it and I will be prepared. So the way that you ask that question is 20-year-old, okay, so I'm thinking decades, but now you're talking about a specific trade, and those are completely different things. So focus less on individual trades, practice, accrue capital, put in as much time as you can to learn technical analysis and trading, learn this game, watch the cycles. You will not make nearly as much as you can on your first major bull cycle, and you will give a lot of that back when your first major bull cycle tops out. And then once you go through that experience, you'll see 5 more of those major bull cycles over the next decade that you can capitalize on and not give your profit back on. So think bigger picture. Don't be zoomed in on one stock. What's the trade I'm taking this week? Think bigger picture. How am I going to prepare myself for the next 5 years so that I can smash the opportunities that are presented to me? And observing and learning from mistakes is a big part of that. So again, I'm not saying don't trade. I'm saying trade with small capital. Get all your mistakes out of the way. I am so grateful for how many mistakes that I made when I was trading with $5,000 to $10,000. So that when I was trading with a lot more than that, I was not making those mistakes. I already made them. I already learned from them. Got them out of the way. FTT was a tricky one, huh? So when FTT popped, I said, okay, well, I've been watching Binance. So now FTT is showing some light or some life. And then it just gave it all back. And I don't know what was going on with the volume because it was not standing out on Binance, but bull volume started to pour in right here on FTX or FTX. And then we get this big pop and then we give it all back. So I would be looking for a 4-hour lower high to be the result of this bounce. The question is, what can our bounce retracement be here? Can we bounce significantly enough to create an equilibrium? One more leg up, and that will be likely. Where we have our high, low, we'll scout the lower high, and then we'll scout a higher low. But because of that big move up and that big pullback, it definitely makes things very tricky on the daily and weekly time frame. We're scouting a weekly high or low, we know that much. The daily is out the window for me as far as useless. So I'd be on the 4-hour time frame, and a loss of the 15-minute uptrend would be the first indication of the potential of a 4-hour lower high being set. Have I been able to help family or friends financially, and does it feel rewarding? Absolutely. That's the only reason I'm still trading. And it is the motivation, and it's the best part of the game. Watching me since before I was on camera. That was a big transition. When I first started showing my face, when was that? 2017? People were very surprised at what I looked like. They thought I was a nerd. Success in 2021, TA clicked, made a bunch of money, stuck with a capital gains bill, more than your house. That's the way it goes. Welcome to the game. Unfortunately, I mean, if it's a you can move places where that's not the case. I was really close to moving to Puerto Rico. I went there and seriously scouted it out. In the end, I would have saved a ton of money had I done so. But I would have also been making decisions in my life dictated by money, when the whole point of financial independence is so that decisions in your life are not dictated by money. So that was my reason for not going to Puerto Rico. And I'm very glad that I didn't. And I paid a lot to not go to Puerto Rico, but definitely happy with where I settled down. So there are ways, again, you can move to different places, get a CPA without a doubt. If you're making money, pay somebody who knows what they're doing. Look into potentially trader tax status, TTS, that can potentially help a bit. But in the end, you pay a lot of money to Uncle Sam. I bought a lot of bombs for the US. Can I reiterate my daily routine? I got a video on it. Again, with 7 years of videos and 7,000 videos, pretty much anything that can be asked, I've got a video on it. Market psychology, trading lifestyle. It's in here somewhere. Routine and flow, I talk about a little bit in there, but there's one where it's day in the life of a day trader. Morning routine of a day trader. I'll just stick that in there so you don't have to search it. Shut up. Thanks for liking the video. Glad the back burner works out. Again, check out the free ebook about the back burner. Some more tips in there. And just for a different perspective from someone else, I didn't write it. Chart gal Dinsey did. So always nice to have different perspectives. All right, we're wrapping it up. Glad to see you, Peckham. Nice, Mary. Can I share a recent Do Good Things personal experience? I shared the one with the shoes in Guatemala. Another recent one. I saw my old homeless friend, Roy. He's been sober for 3 or 4 weeks now. It's looking pretty good. He had some good track outfit on. He looked like a track runner. He said he's real bored. It's a problem with being sober, but he's trying hard. I always enjoy hooking him up. I see him in the same spot. Other than that, just supporting friends. You know, I had a friend put on a workshop, and I wasn't even able to go, but to be able to donate a solid amount of money to support them in their endeavors. All right, I appreciate you all. I hope you have a good day. It feels like Friday. I got to go outside and shovel in a creek. Whenever it rains heavy, we get sediment that blocks up the creek that flows into my pond. Can't have stagnant water. It's chilly, but I'll be digging in a creek.